Folks, one of the things that makes One Rental at a Time a different channel is not only do we bring on 8, 9, 10 different millionaires each week, we also bring on organizations and companies that are helping the One Rental at a Time family. And on occasion, said companies do something special just for the One Rental at a Time family. Let's talk to Jonathan from Convoy Home Loans, and we'll talk about one such thing, man. What's going on?
I'm all right. We talked about it a little off camera, but I'm super excited to roll out kind of a special for the ORAF family. We've been appreciative for the kind of business and relationships that we've built. Whether it's turned into an actual funded loan or not, it's the relationships that are important. So we want to kind of cater to that and also incentivize the ORAF family to work with us more. So we're rolling out an appraisal credit up to $500 on DSCR loans that you do through Convoy. And we will, obviously you pay for it up front, but we will credit you back the $500 up to 500 on the appraisal at closing. And you'll see that on the settlement statement.
Yeah. So one of the things I think is really interesting is obviously we've been doing this together now, I think over a year. It might actually be like 18 months. And, obviously I've seen how One Rental at a Time students interact. They're sending me texts. They're sending me messages on Instagram all the time. I'm appreciative. But I've also seen the momentum really start to build, right? I think it's being consistently on the channel, consistently delivering, consistently creating new products that's really allowing Convoy to kind of stand out. So now to go the extra mile and kind of what I think reciprocate, right? Give back to the community that's really showing some love to Convoy, I think is a very nice gesture on your part and Dustin's part. So I want to thank you, and hopefully the audience appreciates, because you don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we are for the community. So honestly, if keep doing more loans, we might make it 600 and 700. Who knows? Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. So again, we're going to talk more about this DSCR credit, but why don't we just touch on it? We'll do this in its own video. You're doing something around seconds that I think is interesting, because if people go back about 9 months ago, 10 months ago, I said, whoever figured out seconds first is going to win. They are going to be higher rates. Let's not get confused, but you don't got to touch the first, which is gold for many folks. Why don't you just touch on it here? We'll do a subsequent video, but
yeah,
highlight.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about DSCR seconds, like I think like 3 or 4 months ago. And a second position loan that's 30-year fixed, not requiring personal income to qualify, because we were doing bank statement seconds previously. But those rates previously were in like the 15% like range, where it was like kind of hard.
Crazy high.
Yeah. And now it's a little better. We've refined it a little bit. So now it's more in like the 10.5 to 11.5% range. So it's a little more reasonable.
A little better. I would have guessed 12.
Yeah. But I mean, it's within that range. And, the real difference between 11.5 and 12 is not even that much anyways.
Yeah,
so
you're talking a second, so it's
exactly. And you wouldn't use it as a first, but the benefit is you're not using personal income to qualify on this, not even bank statements, right? Just as long as the cash flow works with that high rate, because if the cash flow works with the high rate, then you're not paying for it out of pocket. It's fine as long as the cash flow is positive. Yeah.
So again, folks, there's a lot in this, and I want to go back. I have a book called One Rental at a Time, which hopefully most of you've read. But in that book, unlike Dion, one of my successes was recycling capital. I did do it poorly the first time. So in the beginning, I took out too much cash on Norris Drive, which turned into an alligator. But after that, I figured it out. So I was able to recycle cash and build my portfolio, because again, I was still working, doing all of that. So sometimes if you where you're at, recycling capital, you bought in 2020, you got plenty of equity, you got a 2.8% interest rate, and you're wondering how to keep going. I'm not advising people to do this, but it is something I certainly would have looked at, because again, I was in growth mode and recycling capital was important to me. If somebody wanted to poke at this, ask questions, how would they do that?
Go to convoyhomeloans.com and let us know you came from ORAT.
Again, you got to tell them you came from ORAT. 2 reasons. 1, you could get that $500 credit at closing. And 2, you get to work with either Dustin or Jonathan. And trust me, you want to work with one of those 2 guys. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.